Hi, this is Rick Beyer, and welcome to another edition of D78 Conversations. And with me is the amazing Ricki Fairley, who apparently does not sleep much because she's so busy doing so many other things. And she's had a career in brand management and marketing. She's got a family, lots of Dartmouth activities. Who knows what else? We're going to try to find out a few of those things. Ricki, how are you doing?
I'm great. So great to be here and see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well. Well, let's start with where are you today? What are you doing right now?
Right now, I am actually just finished like a day long of meetings since 7 a.m. about breast cancer. I'm talking to a bunch of pharma companies today, as I usually do, and I'm headed to a dinner with a pharma company. What do you know? You know that they're my funders, so I have to kind of work with them. But you know what? I'm working in the space of Black breast cancer, and Black women have a 41% higher mortality rate of breast cancer than white women. We have a 39% higher recurrence rate, and we get breast cancer under 35 at twice the rate, die at three times the rate. And we get the nasty breast cancer, which is what I had, triple negative breast cancer at three times the rate of white women, and we don't know. And so I'm trying to work with pharma companies to change the science. We need better drugs. The drugs that we have as standard of care for breast cancer are just not working for Black women. And I don't want my three precious Dartmouth bound grandbabies to even speak these words. So
Um,
I
s-
fight with the girl every day.
yeah, so you alluded to the fact that you had breast cancer, which I think is in 2011, and you got a
Yeah.
diagnosis that said, "Hey, good news, you probably got 2 years to live." So that must have been a real kick in the gut.
Yep. And my doctor, so I had stage 3A triple negative breast cancer. I did all the standard of care stuff. I had a double mastectomy. I did a lot of chemo, radiation, and then it came back almost exactly a year later, which is what triple negative tends to do. It's very aggressive. And my doctor said, okay, I have nothing for you. You have 2 years to live. Get your affairs in order. And I said, I can't really die right now. I have a daughter, Haley, my class of 14 daughter was a sophomore. I said, I got to put this kid through school, through darkness. So we got to do something here. What have you got for me? And I went to Dr. Google and I found the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation. And they found me another doctor who was probably one of about five in the country that were actually researching triple negative breast cancer. And she put me on some experimental drugs and I didn't die. And I'm here 11 years.
Those experimental drugs, we feel good about those. We'd like
Yeah.
to, yeah, probably should be investing in them.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned, tell us a little bit about your personal life. You mentioned that you have a couple of daughters, right?
Yeah. So, my dad's a class of 55 and I have a 7 and a 14. And the 7 is being very productive making babies. So she has three little girls that are class of 40, class of 2039, class of 2041, and class of 2043.
You've
So
already got it all plotted
they already got
out.
the T-shirts with their name on the back, So my family is actually the second Black family with three generations. The other Black family is Amy Wilkinson. She's also in our class, but she doesn't have any grandbabies yet. So
Okay, so you're winning the race
yeah,
there.
I'm gonna win the race. I want to be, the first Black family with four generations. So
What is it about Dartmouth that has so infected your family over the
Mhm.
last 60 plus years of almost 70 years?
Yeah, I don't know. So my dad would have, if he was still alive, he would say that his mother made him go. And my grandmother, his mom, they had like five generations of Oberlin in their family, which is really unusual for Black families and not much college back then. But she was hell bent on my dad going to an Ivy League school. And so I have a video of him saying, my mother made me go to Dartmouth. And so I probably started going back with him when I was about 12, like eighth grade, and we started going to Winter Carnival, just me and him. My mom didn't want to go be in the cold, and my sister just wasn't, was I guess too young. But so it became like a thing with me and my dad to go to Hanover once a year. And so as every we started to get older, we got more involved. But I went to Hanover when I was 16, my junior year summer of high school, and that's when my dad helped found BATA. That's when they founded BATA, and I was there with him, and I was the babysitter for all the kids. So Garvey Clark's kids, all the kids were like I was the oldest child, and so my dad's like, "Don't leave the Hanover Inn. There's boys out there. There's animals. You cannot. Whatever you do, stay in this hotel. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave."
It's
And
like
so
1972, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's
my
back
my
in the
dad,
bad old days.
I know my dad voted against co-education. And when I told him I wanted to go, he's like, no, no, this is a boys' school. It's not for you. I'm like, no, no, you don't understand. So we had a battle about that. But Dartmouth has been in my blood since then. And I mean, I got into a lot of other schools. My dad's rule though was I had to go to an Ivy League school, which was the rule I made for my daughters, or he made for my daughters. But it's been in our blood forever. And, I have green blood. And
And
my kids, it's so funny because we all had a different Dartmouth experience. When my dad was at
really,
Dartmouth, there were 12 blacks. And when I was at Dartmouth, I don't know, I had a ball. I think freshman year was like 10-1, right? Men to women, our freshman year. I don't know,
it was not quite that much, but yeah, it was
like
3 or
6-1.
4 to 1, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So somewhere in there. And then my girls had totally different experiences. And Amanda's now my oldest daughter, my 7 is on the Tucker board. And so she's very active. And actually one of my daughters, Haley, she works with me. I actually work for her. She runs my foundation now. And she's going to Hanover tomorrow to do an event for breast cancer with the Black kids at Dartmouth. And then I think Amanda has a Tucker meeting next Saturday. So they're both going to Hanover in the next 2 weeks.
So, looking at your family over the last 3 generations, in addition to being a Dartmouth connection, there's also like a really strong connection to service. People interested in doing more than just making money. And sort of where do you think that comes from? How does it get handed down in your family?
Yeah, no, and I'm at Rocky Foundation, not Tucker Foundation, the Rocky Foundation.
Sure.
I mean, my dad was a civil rights leader. And so I kind of grew up in that environment. Both of my parents were educators. My mom was elementary school principal. So I kind of always sort of grew up with too much is given, much must be done. We have to, you have to serve the community. They're both very, very service oriented. My mom will be 90 in a couple
Wow.
of weeks. She's very, very active in her service organizations, in her sorority and the Links Incorporated. And so I sort of grew up with that mindset. And I'm a marketing person. And so when I saw this opportunity with breast cancer, and I saw, breast cancer, I think because it's women, a lot of women, it has more advocacy groups than any other disease. And because women take care of each other. But when I saw what was going on in the space, a lot of stuff was happening, but nothing was being done with the science. And a lot of research is being done, but like no one was really focused on getting rid of it. And a lot of research, well, how can we help you? Well, let's do yoga. We'll give you a hug, a lot of support and everything. But I want to get rid of it. I want science. I want better drugs. And so that's what I've sort of focused my energy on. And I tell a pharma company every day, their baby's ugly. You got to do it better, honey, because it's not working for us. And
Mm.
I just felt like I could make my marketing tools work in advocacy. And that's what I've done. So I like to think that what we're doing is iconic things. I look at it totally differently than most advocacy people. And I don't want to, talk badly about anyone. Everybody deserves a pat on the back for being in this space, but we have to think about it differently. One of my favorite quotes is Albert Einstein: "A problem cannot be solved within which the framework it was created." So I'm trying to turn things upside down, flip them over, and be iconic in how we talk about it, how we educate about it, and really equip Black women to understand that they have to be the CEO of their own health and demand a good standard of care.
So, word out there, rumor has it that you're engaged to be married, Ricky Fairley. What's the story on
No,
this?
I was married for 30 years to my graduate school husband, he's now my husband, and I've been divorced for 10 years. And I figured, I should probably get married or do something, right? My daughter's like, well, Mommy, who's going to take care of you? Because we're not. So, so I don't know. I have a great husband. He's a retired military major, and he's a good person, and he
Oh,
likes things.
fantastic. Last question. 50 years ago this week, I opened the letter that said, "Hey, Rick, you got into Dartmouth." I actually tried to get my mother to open it for me because I was too nervous, but she wouldn't do it, so she handed it back to me. Uh, on that day, in 1973, we had our whole lives ahead of us.
Right.
And today we have a much shorter time ahead of us. What do you, as you look at that time going forward, what do you see for Ricky Fairley in there?
You know what? I wish I could cure breast cancer. I hope I can make a dent in the science for breast cancer in whatever time I have left. I hope that I can be a great mother to my 2 daughters still and be a great grandmother. being a grandmother is like so much fun. It's so much better than being a mom. You know, like it's like the best, the best. And I hope I can, you know, just spend time with my family and have more great girls. You know, Haley's getting married in October, so I'm waiting for
Wow.
those grandbabies. But I hope I can just live to be a great grandmother and teach my kids and give them a legacy they can be proud of.
Well, excellent. Ricki Fairley, thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, I'm Rick Beyer, and this is D78 Conversations.
And this is so cool.
All right, I am ending.